Adriana Diaz is here in New York City. Good to have you back, Adriana. Yeah. Incredible reporting.
Thank you.
I think the first question I want to ask is, there is a perception in this country about what life is like in North Korea. I know you've got government handlers with you every step of the way, but what did you see?
That's a really good point. We do have government handlers. They take us where they want to take us. They didn't let us inside any stores or to actually approach real people on the street, but we got some leeway. They took us to really softball places like the amusement park and the zoo, and I think what they're trying to do is show the American media, hey, we're normal people to some extent. We like to have fun. Look at these, folks laughing and spending time with their family. But at the same time, there is a strong sense in that country that it's controlled by the top, and they really worship their leader. Every single person in North Korea wears a pin of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il over their heart. Children in school, people that we talk to on the street, and it's part of their daily life. And I asked one person, why do you wear that pin? And they said, because we carry them in our hearts, the former leaders of the country. We went to a factory and another school where there are rooms that are essentially shrines to the leaders. So when those leaders visit the schools, a chair that they sat in is encased in a box. It's something. It's
cult of personality.
It really is.
Did you try to ask them to go somewhere else that wasn't on their self-guided tour?
Oh, sure, every day.
And what would they say?
They would say, it's not possible at this time. Oh, it's too dark if you want to go film there, and we said, we have lights, we can handle it. But suddenly it wasn't too dark to go to the amusement park the next night. They were friendly and they wanted to be cordial about it, but it was clear, that certain things just were off limits.
The director of national intelligence, James Clapper, had a lot to say about North Korea. Let's get to the soundbite that he had from yesterday.
I think the notion of getting the North Koreans to denuclearize is probably a lost cause. They are not going to do that. That is their ticket to survival. What does bother me a bit is that we don't capitalize on our great weapon, which is information. And that's something they worry about a lot.
He's also gone on to say that China is such a key, important part of this relationship with North Korea, or trying to get some sort of relationship. What's your take on China and their influence there?
Well, China does a bulk of North Korea's trade. They account for 90% of all trade from North Korea. So without China, North Korea is going to have an enormous problem in terms of oil, because they get nearly all of their oil from China, and cash flow, because China's buying all this coal from North Korea. That's injecting their economy with cash. So China's a key player here, and it's up to China to really press North Korea, but they're allies and they're fellow communist comrades, and it's important to China to have a smooth relationship and a transition, because they also don't want North Korea to have nuclear weapons, but they think that they want this to be, they want to negotiate and really try to use diplomatic channels to resolve this.
I love your question to that government person about whether or not they want Donald Trump or they prefer Hillary Clinton to be president of the United States. What's interesting is that Donald Trump, as you know, has called for Japan to have nuclear weapons, which the United States wrote that constitution for Japan saying they should never have nuclear weapons. I'm curious, he said that he wants somebody who's not threatening to North Korea, but did you get a sense that they have a preference at all?
I tried so hard to get that preference, and each time he said, we have to wait and see. I said, all right, fine, you win.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a preference, or at least weren't willing to share that with us. But the question of the balance of power and American influence in Asia is huge.
Yeah.
The North Koreans feel that Americans are imperialists. We have troops in South Korea, we have troops in Japan, and they feel like they're being encroached upon, and they're at risk for being invaded. And several people said to us, we don't want to be the next Iraq or Afghanistan. So that's their reference point.
Wow. I want to ask you, before you leave, you're based in Beijing. What's the situation with President Xi? Is he viewed as domestically very strong, and is there any sort of successor in the works?
He's enormously powerful, and he's really just tightening the reins. He has launched a corruption crackdown, but while that is a positive thing, because corruption is so rampant in China, as obviously there are other places where there are corruption issues, he's also cracked down on civil society, closed down NGOs. Human rights lawyers are being followed and harassed by police. There's a real tightening of the grip going on right now in China under Xi Jinping, and he's up to be the next president for the next 5 years, and that's pretty much expected.
Wow.
Wow, Adriana Diaz, just incredible reporting. Thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Thank you.